Champ down.
Yes, I didn't say. What are you looking so sad about, Champ?
I'm surprised. I mean, I'm really insulted. That's not right, what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I mean, I'm getting drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talking about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, one time in my career, I was on a bum of the month tour.
I would have been a bum compared to you.
Well, you'd be on the tour. Oh.
What's happening, my people? It's Cast Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right. You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. As the family today, the life and career of Antonio Tarver today. It's Profile Day. Right at the end of another big week of boxing history. We got boxing this weekend. Chris Eubanks, Conor Ben. The sons carrying on the father's rivalry. See how that turns out tomorrow. A real grudge match. No love lost there. But we're going to talk about the Magic Man today. Had a fire resume for Roy Jones Jr. 3 times. Chad Dawson. Glenn Johnson. B-Hop. Yeah, the Magic Man had a nice resume, as did most boxers back in that era, you know. I mean, you don't fight big names every fight, but they consistently was in there with the big names of the era. Highlights of boxing history today is going to be 10 of the greatest, all-time greatest Italian American boxers. They're having trouble with the Wi-Fi. They said it's the wire outside leading up to the house that need to be replaced. So they got to make an appointment for me. But we're going to do our best today. See how it goes. Okay. So the highlights of boxing history is 10 of the greatest Italian-American boxers of all time. And we got a bonus highlights of boxing history because Antonio Tarver is not a long one. We're going to talk about 10 of the richest American boxers in history. 10 of the richest American boxers in history. Also, coming up in a few moments. So let's get into the highlights of boxing history. Salute Mike Mazik. We're going to try this again today. Mike got a bad wire leading to the house. That's what's affecting the internet. They got to come fix it, but we're going to see what we can do today. Okay. But the highlights, but salute Mike Mazik. Highlights of boxing history today is the 10 of the greatest Italian-American boxers of all time. Sorry about yesterday. I couldn't get it, just kicked me off, totally offline. But we're back today. So we're going to see how we can do. Okay. But starting out with 10 of the greatest Italian-American boxers of all time. Okay, for the highlights of boxing history. What's up, Mike Grimm? I get scared every time I hear a little hesitation in the music, like, oh no. But salute, Mike Grimm. Just bear with me. If we go out, I'm gonna try to get it back in. Okay. 10 of the greatest Italian-American boxers of all time. Now in boxing, there's more to the Italian-American fighter than Rocky Balboa. Immortalized on the silver screen, thanks to the Rocky series of films, the Italian-American boxer is no figment of Sylvester Stallone's imagination, but a living, breathing entity that has given the sweet science some of its greatest champions and produced more than its share of iconic moments. But who was the best of the Italian-American fighters? Okay, let's find out. First, Rocky Balboa. No, not Rocky Balboa, excuse me. Rocky Marciano. Rocky Marciano, a real fighter, not a movie character. Rocky Marciano. 49-0, 43 knockouts. The greatest of the Italian-American fighters. Now, Willie Pep may have been the most skilled boxer on this list, but no one made more of a worldwide impact than Rocky Marciano, the heavyweight champion of the world from 1952 to 1955. Seen by some as a crude slugger, Marciano could bang with the best of them, but he also had deceptive defensive skills and heart for days, allowing him to retire undefeated, while his photo usually found a home on the wall next to the picture of Jesus in Italian-American households. Rocky Marciano. There is Willie Pep. We're talking about some great Italian-American fighters. Willie Pep, 229 wins, 11 losses, 1 draw, 65 knockouts. Yeah, that wasn't a mystery. 229 wins for the Will of the Wisp, Willie Pep. Now, legend has it Then Willie Pep won the third round of his 1946 fight against Jackie Graves without throwing a single punch. And while that story has produced plenty of heated debates over the years, the fact that it's even considered a possibility shows how much of a defensive wizard the two-time featherweight champion was. The Connecticut native wouldn't shy away from a fight, though. He fought a 4-fight series against fellow great Sandy Sadler. That was among the most brutal seen in the sport of boxing. That series took place after Pep suffered serious injuries in a 1947 plane crash. In the same year the plane crash, he came back and fought 10 more times that very year. The will-o'-the-wisp, Willie Pep. Tony Canzonieri. 137 wins, 24 losses, 10 draws, 44 knockouts. A 3-division world champion in the 1930s, a decade when that meant something before the days of seemingly endless divisions and title holders. Yeah, everybody got a belt nowadays. You be a 2-fight prospect and have a belt. But Louisiana native Tony Canzonieri looked the part and fought accordingly during a Hall of Fame career, highlighted by a 4-fight series against the man right below him on this list, Lou Ambler, another great Italian-American fighter. And Canzonieri had wins over fellow all-time greats, Jimmy McLarnin, Baby Aris Mendy, Billy Patrol, also on this list, and Kid Chocolate, just to name a few. And there's the aforementioned Lou Ambler, another great Italian-American fighter. Define Arnie One in the building. What's up, Define Arnie One? How are you today? Starting out the show talking about some great Italian-American fighters. You missed the man that topped the list, Rocky Marciano, greatest Italian-American fighter of them all. But this is not a bad one here, Lou Ambler. But he was born Luigi Giuseppe D'Ambrosio, but known in the ring as Lou Ambler. He shortened it up. 89 wins, 8 losses, 7 draws, 28 knockouts. Now, what separated boxers like Lou the Herkimer Hurricane Ambler from those that came after them is that there was a precious little ducking of challenges, as they lived up to the adage that fighters fight, okay? Fighters fight. Winner of 89 of his 104 fights, Ambler was a world champion in the lightweight division, who shared the ring with the likes of Tony Canzonieri, Harry Armstrong, Fritzy Zivik, and Lou Jenkins, all in a career that only spanned from 1932 to 1941. Wow. 104 fights in 9 years. Ooh. Next, the legendary Jake LaMotta. Jake LaMotta. 83 wins, 19 losses, 4 draws, 30 knockouts. Kind of weird with that precious style Jake had. He only had 30 knockouts, right? In 106 fights. You know, with his style, you would have thought it would have produced a few more knockouts, but one of those days. Most will remember Jake LaMotta for Robert De Niro's unflattering portrayal of him in the film The Raging Bull. But in the ring, the relentless Bronx Bull is one of the middleweight greats, best known for being the man who stopped Sugar Ray Robinson's 40-fight win streak in 1943. The two fought 5 more times, Robinson winning each. In later years, LaMotta said, he fought Sugar Ray so much, it's a wonder he didn't develop diabetes. He fought sugar so much, it's a wonder he didn't develop diabetes. The great Jake LaMotta. Billy Patrol. 122 wins, 26 losses, 15 draws, 1 no contest, 65 knockouts for Billy Patrol. That's him on the right. That's Tony Canzanieri. He squared up against there, who was we already talked about on this list, right? There's Tony Canzanieri on the left, Billy Patrol on the right. How good was Billy Patrol? The Fargo Express is the only boxer on this list who never won a world title, but is still considered by most pundits to be one of the top lightweights to ever lace up the gloves. Patrol, who owned wins over Tony Canzanieri, Jimmy McLaurin, and Jackie Kid Berg, did fight Canzanieri for the 135-pound title in 1932, but lost a 15-round decision. Okay, the great Carmen Basilio, one of those great middleweights from the 1950s. There's Carmen Basilio. 56 wins, 16 losses, 7 draws, 27 knockouts. Beloved in the upstate New York region where he lived his entire life, Carmen Basilio was as no-nonsense as it got in the squared circle, with an iron will, an equally sturdy chin, and steady pressure, earning him world titles at middleweight and welterweight, as he became one of the rare fighters to beat Sugar Ray Robinson, and also etched his name in the history books for 2 unforgettable wars with Tony DeMarco. Sammy Angat. That's Sammy on the right there. That's his trainer, Sammy Angat. Now, Sammy was born Salvatore Ngati, but he fought as Sammy Angat. 94 wins, 29 losses, 8 draws, 23 knockouts. Another all-time great, Sammy Angat fought them all across several divisions, including Sugar Ray Robinson, Willie Pep, Ike Williams, and Bojack. When you talk anyone, anytime, anywhere, he was talking about Sammy Angat. Joey Maxim. That's Joey on the right, fighting Sugar Ray Robinson. Okay? Joey was born Giuseppe Antonio Berardinelli. Giuseppe Antonio Berardinelli fought as Joey Maxim. 83 wins, 29 losses, 4 draws, 22 knockouts. An underrated boxer, former light heavyweight champion, Joey Maxim fought 87 times before beating Freddie Mills for the title in 1950. Maxim, who also fought for the heavyweight championship, held his belt until 1952, beating Sugar Ray Robinson along the way. They beat Sugar Ray when the heat exhaustion. Sugar Ray was leading, but he couldn't come out for the 13th round because of the heat exhaustion. 103 degrees in the ring. Before Sugar Ray went down to the heat, they had to change referees. The referee went down to heat exhaustion. But BoxRec doesn't say anything about heat exhaustion on Joey Maxim's record. It has Sugar Ray Robinson with a W beside it. Don't say nothing about heat exhaustion. So he had a victory over Sugar Ray Robinson. And finally, Fidel LaBarba. There's Fidel. 69 wins, 15 losses, 6 draws, 16 knockouts. Fidel LaBarba won an Olympic gold medal for the United States in 1924 as a high school student. adding a world flyweight title in the pros 2 years later. He gave up the belt to attend Stanford University, but returned a year later to the boxing ring and fought until 1932, when he was forced to retire due to a detached retina. And we got some honorable mentions for great Italian-American fighters. Some honorable mentions: Tony DeMarco, Joey Giardello, Rocky Graziano, Ray Boom Boom Mancini, Willie Pastrano. I don't know why Willie Pastrano wasn't in the top 10. Vinny the Tasmanian Devil, Pazienza, Paul Spadafora. Yeah, that's baffling. Willie Pastrano should have definitely been top 5. But one of those things, I guess. Okay, we're going to continue another segment of the highlights of boxing history, because the Magic Man isn't that long profile. So now we got 10 of the richest American fighters of all time. Okay, 10 of the richest American fighters of all time. Let's talk about them real quick. The 10 richest American fighters of all time. And this is up to date. This list is as of April 2025. 10 richest American boxers in history. Okay? 10 richest American boxers in history. Yeah, Jake Paul is on the list. Jake is a boxer / promoter, but Oscar Floyd is also on there, boxer / promoter. We got some deceased boxers on here too, but this list is up as of April 2025, up to date. Now, once the global powerhouse of boxing, the United States of America has been forced to play second fiddle in recent years as stars from other countries, such as Mexico's Saul Canelo Alvarez and Ukraine's Alexander Usyk, have dominated the landscape when it comes to big fights. However, the United States is still the birthplace of many of the greatest fighters in the sport's rich history, with the biggest names banking vast sums of money thanks to their stardom. Given the recent influx of money into boxing from Saudi Arabia, it is likely that modern-day stars such as Brian Garcia and Terrence Crawford, both worth $20 million currently, will make the top 10 before their careers are over. With that said, they still got some way to go to match the remarkable wealth of some of the richest American boxers in history. Now let's take a look at the top 10. Now, figures are taken per celebrity net worth, unless otherwise stated. Okay? Now, where a fighter has passed away, their net worth at the time of their passing has been used in order to maintain historical accuracy. One from 10 to 1. 10 richest American boxers in history. Just American boxers now. Okay. Ray Patterson, straight out of New Jersey, in the house. What's up, RP? We're getting ready to talk about the 10 richest American boxers of all time. From 10 to 1. Coming in at number 10, Iron Mike Tyson. Net worth of $30 million. Al Booger. What's up, AB? What's up, Al Booger? Here, we're going to get to the Magic Man momentarily. We're going to look at these 10 richest American boxers of all time. Number 10 is Mike Tyson, Iron Mike Tyson, worth $30 million. Estimated to have been worth $300 million in his prime. A series of financial setbacks saw Tyson lose the fortune he had banked from fights with the likes of Frank Bruno, Evander Holyfield, and Lennox Lewis. After he was stopped by Kevin McBride in 2005, Iron Mike admitted he was simply fighting because he needed the money. Tyson would retire after that fight, but remarkably, made a comeback to the ring last November to face off against social media superstar Jake Paul. And while the heavyweight legend was a shadow of his former self in the ring, the fight was a huge commercial success, earning Mike $20 million. His return to the spotlight opened up a whole new range of sponsorship and endorsement opportunities, allowing him to rebuild some of his previously lost wealth. And the Jake Paul fight last year is the primary reason Mike is on this list. And we had a tie at number 10. Tied with Mike at 30 mil is Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder, also worth 30 mil. This is as of April 2025. And one of the most devastating knockout artists in boxing history. Wilder was a must-watch fighter during his 5-year reign as WBC heavyweight champion between 2015 and 2020. The Bronx Bomber truly cashed in on his reputation during his gripping trilogy with Tyson Fury, which is where he amassed most of his wealth. The Alabama native has struggled for form since losing his final 2 fights to the Gypsy King, and overall has won just one of his last 5 fights. However, the 39-year-old Wilder is set to add to his bank balance when he returns to the ring for a comeback fight in June of this year. Okay, so that was to number 10. So we go to number 8. Okay, we have a tie for number 8. First, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Okay, at the time of his passing, Marvelous Marvin was worth $40 million. Okay, $40 million. Marvelous Marvin Hagler banked significant sums during his in-ring career, reportedly being paid as much as $20 million for his April 1987 clash with Sugar Ray Leonard. And that's significant. You might say 20 million ain't nothing nowadays what some of these fighters are getting. But this was 1987 when he made that 20 million. So that's the big sum for 1987. Now he was also paid well for showdowns with Roberto Duran and Thomas Hearns. After hanging up his gloves following his fight with Leonard, Hagler continued to earn well with television punditry, personal appearances, and even a foray into acting. The former undisputed middleweight champion passed away in March 2021 with an estimated net worth of $40 million. Tied with Marvin at 8 is B-Hop, Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins, net worth $40 million. A 2-weight world champion, the Executioner enjoyed a professional career that lasted a total of 28 years, and so he'll make his mark on history. Hopkins' biggest purse came in the form of the $10 million he earned for knocking out Oscar De La Hoya in 2004. Elsewhere, B-Hop shared the ring with names such as Joe Calzaghe, Roy Jones Jr. twice, Sergey Kovalev, and Kelly Pavlik. When he beat Babe Shumano to unify the WBA and IBF light heavyweight titles at the age of 49, Hopkins extended his own record as the oldest world champion in boxing history. B-Hop. Coming in at number 6, the greatest. At the time of his death, Muhammad Ali had a net worth of $50 million. Okay. Now, much of the $50 million that Ali was worth when he passed away in June 2016 wasn't made in the ring. The greatest taste of victory in some of the most legendary fights of all time, including the Rumble in the Jungle, where he beat George Foreman, and the Thriller in Manila, defeated Joe Frazier. As much of a cultural impact as those fights had, the absence of pay-per-view television at the time meant that Ali couldn't cash in to the same extent as stars in later generations did. Imagine if they had pay-per-view for the Thriller in Manila. I would have had a $300 million fight. How many we probably would have had the first $2 million pay-per-view buy fight. The Thriller in Manila on pay-per-view and the Rumble in the Jungle. Probably would have passed 2, okay? Probably would have passed 2, but we didn't have pay-per-view then, so. Despite this, Ali still raked in millions after retirement through the licensing of his name and likeness, Muhammad Ali. Okay, yeah. The problem child made it. problem child made it. Jake Paul. Coming in at number 5. Jake Paul. The problem child was already a rich man long before he laced up a pair of boxing gloves, with his earnings as a child star on the Disney Channel and income from social media. Just happened. Okay, from social media, setting him up handsomely. However, he's opened up the sport to a new audience since debuting as a pro in 2020. While each of his 12 fights have attracted a good level of interest, none of them come close to matching his blockbuster showdown with Mike Tyson. The Netflix stream contest is reported to have netted Paul a massive $40 million because he promoted it too, you know. Yeah, he got money as a fighter and promoting it, right? 40 mil for that one fight. Number 4, Sugar Ray Leonard. You know, Sugar Ray was the first fighter to make $100 million in purses just from boxing, not counting endorsements and none of that. He was the first fighter to earn $100 million just from boxing purses. It wasn't in one fight, but accumulation. First one to get $100 million though in purses. Yeah, Sugar Ray Leonard. Now, Sugar Ray set the table for his massive wealth with his battles against the likes of Marvin Hagler, Roberto Loren, and Thomas Hearns, the other 3-4 kings. Yeah. Now, star across 5 weight classes during his career, Leonard drew an engaged audience whenever he fought, whenever and wherever he fought, and was well paid as a result. After retiring at the age of 40 in 1997, he continued to add to his bank balance through broadcast roles with NBC and HBO, as well as endorsements for 7-Up and EA Sports. Sugar Ray Leonard, and the top 3 earners. So Sugar Ray is worth $120 million currently. This is as of April 2025, up to date. The Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, because he's a promoter too. He's earned a lot of earnings from promoting. Net worth $200 million for Oscar, 200 mil. A huge pay-per-view star during his in-ring career, Oscar shared the ring with the biggest names of his era, including Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao. Oscar didn't win either of those fights, but was paid well for his efforts. I think he got paid more than Floyd and Manny in those 2 fights. Oscar was the A-side in both of them, right? Oscar didn't win. Well, he didn't win either, but he was the A-side in both, and he cashed in big time. Now, the Golden Boy did enjoy plenty of success in the squared circle, though, winning world titles on 11 different occasions in 6 different weight classes. After hanging up the gloves, De La Hoya went on to establish his own promotional company, Golden Boy Promotions, who were the leading matchmakers in the sport for a number of years and still going. Still making good fights. At number 2, Big George Foreman. Of course, a lot of that came from that Foreman grill, not in the ring. But at the time of his death, Big George was worth $300 million. 300 mil, okay? Now, for as much as Foreman accomplished in the boxing ring, it was beating wrestling legend Hulk Hogan in a deal to be the face of a range of grills that really saw his net worth soar. The George Foreman grill sold hundreds of millions of units, earning Foreman a staggering amount of commission. The legendary slugger won the world heavyweight title on 2 occasions, as well as winning Olympic gold in 1968. He also holds the distinction of being the oldest man ever to win the World Heavyweight Championship. Foreman was 45 years old when he knocked out Michael Moorer in November 1994. He was worth an estimated $300 million when he passed away last month, March 2025. And you know number 1 is. The man is always flashing his money around, bragging about his private jet and all that. Y'all know who it is. Floyd Money Mayweather. Al Booker says, damn. And that's $100 million in 1980s money. Yeah, 1980s money, Al Booker. Just imagine if they had pay-per-view in Sugar Ray Ford Hearns, those two Duran fights, Ali Frazier. We would have over 2-point-something pay-per-view buys for those fights. Easily. Right? The Thriller in Manila might have got 3. But Floyd is number 1. A man who went by the nickname of Money for the latter part of his career, it's fitting that Floyd Mayweather Jr. heads up the list. Retiring from the pro ranks after outclassing Conor McGregor in August 2017, Floyd left the sport with a perfect record of 50-0. The technical wizard boasts victories over names such as Manny Pacquiao, Oscar De La Hoya, Canelo Alvarez, and Ricky Hatton on his resume, among others. All took place on pay-per-view and all made Mayweather a fortune. Even with his prime seemingly in the rearview mirror, Mayweather still continued to bank huge sums after retirement by competing in lucrative exhibition fights, including a stadium fight with social media superstar Logan Paul. Okay, there you have it. The 10 highest paid American fighters of all time. Okay. Yeah, Monday, as promised, like earlier in the week, I said we're going to do something on women's boxing. So it's going to be Monday. It's going to be women's boxing 2025. We're just going to talk about the state of women's boxing in 2025 and look at some of the stars, currently active stars in the sport in 2025. Okay. I got to get my tablet. I left my tablet way over there. On the other side of the room. Okay, here we go. Now it's time for the Magic Man. The life and career of the Magic Man, Antonio Tarver. Okay, fire resume. Everybody had fire resumes back then, though. You know, like I say, you couldn't fight top fighters every fight, but consistently, big names was in there with big names, right? Very consistent basis. Okay. Yeah, the man came yesterday and he said he fixed the internet and then left and went out doing the show. So I call him and they said, oh, he's still in the area. We're sending right back. I'm like, no, don't send him back. Why would I want him back? He had already been here and didn't fix it. I said, send somebody different. So the man came today and said, listen, why are you leading up to the house outside? So they got to make an appointment, but hopefully we make it through today. Okay, bear with me. If I go out, I'll come back in. But yeah, man, if you go to the barber shop and the man messes your haircut up, you ain't going to go back to that barber anymore, are you? So why would I want that technician back? I'm not trying to get a man a bad rep, but he didn't fix it when it was here. Why would I want him to come back and waste my time again? So I said, no, don't send him back. Oh, not him. I want somebody new and different. But the life and career of the Magic Man, right? Who would want him back? Okay, let's get into it. I had it all set up, but I got to do it over. It's all good. How's everybody today? We got the Eubank and Ben rivalry continues with the Suns tomorrow. And then we just a few days away from fight week for another big 2025 card. Ryan versus Rolly, Devin versus Jose Ramirez, and Teofimo and Arnold Barboza. That's the one I'm interested in seeing the most is Teofimo and Arnold Barboza. See which Teofimo shows up, you know. If the top level Teofimo shows up, I really don't give Barboza much of a chance. But the Teofimo that fought Cambosa, I give Barboza an excellent chance. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the man calls himself Money Out, Booker. I forgot to say what his net worth was. I think it's $400 million. Yeah. Easily $500 million, Al Booker, if he had pay-per-view back then. Imagine Ali and Frazier, the Thriller in Manila on pay-per-view. And that was the third fight between them. Ooh. He might have had like 3.7 pay-per-view buys or something. You know what I mean? That would have been up there. Okay. The life and career of the Magic Man, Antonio Tarver. Okay. Here we go. Okay, Antonio Dion Tarver, right? He's a former boxer and boxing commentator. Now he competed from 1997 to 2015, right? That's an 18-year career. He held multiple light heavyweight world championships, including the WBA, Unified, WBC, IBF, and Ring Magazine titles, as well as the IBO light heavyweight and cruiserweight titles. You know, a couple minor titles. Let's look at some numbers. Now he's currently 56 years of age, okay? Known in the ring as the Magic Man. He competed in 3 weight classes. Light heavyweight, started his career at light heavyweight, then he competed also at cruiserweight and heavyweight. He was 6'2" tall, had a reach of 75 inches. He fought in the orthodox southpaw, fought in the southpaw stance. The Magic Man fought in the southpaw stance. He had a total of 39 fights in his career. He won 31, lost 22. No, won 31, lost 6. Had 22 knockouts, 1 draw, 1 no contest. Okay, for the Magic Man, Antonio Tarver. Now, as an amateur, Tarver represented the United States at the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta, Georgia, winning a bronze medal in the light heavyweight division. He eventually lost to Vasily Girard from Kazakhstan, whom he had previously defeated at the 1995 World Championships to win gold. Tarver also triumphed at the 1995 Pan American Games and 1995 U.S. National Championships, winning gold in both. And he remains the only boxer in history to have won gold at the Pan Am Games, the World Championships, and the U.S. Nationals, all in the same year. Now, outside of boxing, Tarver starred as Mason the Lion Dixon, the heavyweight champion, in the 2006 film Rocky Balboa. We're going to talk about that too later. Let's take a quick look at his amateur career. Now, he had 54 amateur fights. He went 145, lost 8, had 1 draw, 13 knockouts in the amateurs. Now, 1993 and 1995 United States Amateur Light Heavyweight Champion. He was the 1994 National Golden Gloves Light Heavyweight Champion. He won the light heavyweight bronze medal for the United States at the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay? He beat Dmitry Barbonov from Russia. He beat David Kowa from Sierra Leone. He beat Enrique Flores from Puerto Rico. And then he lost to Vasily Girard in the semifinal from Kazakhstan. But he did get the bronze medal. Okay? Okay, let's go to his professional career. For the Magic Man, Antonio Tarver. The early years. Okay, let's start off with the early years of his pro career. Okay, what's going on in the chat before I get started here? Nothing. Appreciate everybody stopping by today. We got so far, we got Miss Cass, Mike Mazik, Mike Rim, Define Arnie 1, RP, Ray Patterson, and Al Booger in the building. Okay, appreciate y'all. 1,000,000%. Early years. Now, Tarver made his professional debut at the age of 28 on February 18th, 1997, with a second-round knockout of Joaquin Garcia at the legendary Blue Horizon in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Now, Tarver won his first 16 fights, 14 of them by knockout, before he stepped up his level of competition. After taking most of his first 16 fights either in his native Florida or at the Blue Horizon in Philly, for his 11th fight, he met veteran Rocky Gannon in Chester, West Virginia on August 30th, 1998, and Tarver knocked out Gannon in the second round. On February 29th, 2000, Tarver scored a knockout against Ernest M16 Mateen in Las Vegas, Nevada. Later that year, Tarver suffered his first loss when he was knocked down in the 11th round by Eric Harding en route to a unanimous decision loss on June 23rd in Biloxi, Mississippi. This was an IBF title eliminator fight where the winner would face Roy Jones Jr. Fell a little short in that one. In 2002, Tarver defeated former two-weight world champion Reggie Johnson by split decision to win the NABF and USBA light heavyweight title and a guaranteed title shot at Roy Jones Jr. He then scored a fifth-round stoppage over Harding in a rematch that was on the undercard of the rematch between Shane Mosley and Vernon Forrest. Tarver was trailing on all the scorecards until the fourth round, when he sent Harding to the canvas with a barrage of unanswered power shots. Harding was also floored twice in the fifth round, and the second knockdown in the fifth round led to the stoppage of the fight. Okay. Unified light heavyweight champion. Okay. Tarver versus Montel Griffin. There they are. Tarver versus Montel Griffin. On April 26, 2003, Tarver received his first world title shot when he faced former WBC champion Montel Griffin. This was for the WBC and IBF light heavyweight title that had been vacated by Roy Jones Jr., who had gone on to defeat John Ruiz for the WBA heavyweight title the previous month. After dropping Griffin in the first and last rounds, Tarver was crowned champion after winning a unanimous decision. That was his first title, 2003 light heavyweight champion. And he took 2 belts from Griffin, okay? WBC and IBF light heavyweight titles. Now, Tarver versus Roy Jones Jr., 1 and 2. Yeah, they had a trilogy. We're going to talk about the first 2 fights right now. Tarver and Roy Jones Jr. Okay? Now, next, rather than remain at heavyweight, Roy Jones planned to return to light heavyweight and regain his belts that he had vacated. Now, given little chance of the belts that Tarver had won for Griffin, Roy said he's going to come back down and get them. Now, given little chance of winning, Tarver took a weight-drained Jones the distance and lost the fight in WBC title by a majority decision on November 8th, 2003 in Las Vegas. Tarver had relinquished the IBF title after a few days earlier in anticipation of being unable to make a mandatory defense, right? So he vacated the IBF belt. So when he fought Roy the first time, the WBC was the only belt on the line. Now in the rematch on May 15, 2004 in Las Vegas, Tarver upset the odds to regain the WBC title and win the WBA title by knocking Jones out in the second round. In 50 previous fights, Jones had only been sent to the floor once, leaving most observers shocked at the result between him and Tarver. Yeah. Tarver stopped him, shocked the world. Now, after that fight, he had a rise in popularity after he beat Roy Jones. Now, Tarver became a mainstream celebrity after his rematch win over Jones, making appearances at late night shows, appearing on the cover of both Ring and KO magazines, being spotted by television cameras as a spectator at various boxing matches, and co-hosting ESPN's Friday Night Fights for one telecast. Because, yeah, That was the early 2000s. And remember, Roy was the fighter of the decade of the 1990s. And he was still a big deal coming into that fight. And by Tarver beating him, Tarver became a household name, kind of a household name, right? Became a mainstream celebrity after he beat Roy Jones Jr. And the way he beat him, second round knockout. Tarver versus Johnson 1 and 2. This is Glenn Johnson. Glenn Johnson. 1 and 2. Okay, later in 2004, the WBC decided to strip Tarver of the world title after Tarver decided against fighting their mandatory challenger. Instead, the Magic Man chose to fight IBF title holder Glenn Johnson, for unification. December 18th in Temecula, California. The Tarver had already been removed as super champion by the WBA in their July ranking. Johnson himself had been stripped of his IBF title before the fight with Tarver for not fighting his mandatory challenger. But both fighters were celebrated for their decision to fight each other rather than bow to the pressure from what has become known as the Alphabet Group sanctioning bodies, WBC, WBA, AWBO, and IBF. So it wasn't a unification because they both had got stripped, right? Now, Tarver, considered a favorite to win the fight, suffered an upset loss to Johnson by way of a split decision in a fight that he did not appear to be in top shape for. Now, Tarver avenged the loss 6 months later, had an immediate rematch with a unanimous decision, outboxing and outworking the aggressor, Johnson, at the FedEx Forum in Memphis, Tennessee, to regain the ring championship. Okay, so the ring championship is still on the line. I guess the ring didn't strip it. The ring is not one of the alphabet groups, right? I don't think the ring have no mandatories or nothing like that, right? Do they? Yeah. So he won the ring belt in that fight with Johnson. Then came Roy Jones 3, the rubber match, okay? Tarver versus Jones 3. Now, in their third fight, Tarver won a unanimous decision over Roy Jones Jr. on October 1st, 2005 in Tampa, Florida, almost knocking Jones down in the 11th round, but also finding himself in trouble at times during the fight. But the Magic Man got the unanimous decision and won the rubber match. Then he went up against B-Hop, Bernard Hopkins. Yep, he fought B-Hop. I told you, fire your resume. Tarver versus Bernard Hopkins. There they are, Tarver and Bernard Hopkins. On June 10th, 2006, Tarver faced former undisputed world middleweight champion Bernard Hopkins for Tarver's ring title at the Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Now, Hopkins was a 3-1 underdog coming into the fight, but he dominated the fight, outboxing Tarver to win a unanimous decision. The fight was scored 118-109 by all three judges, beat him widely, dominated the Magic Man. Tarver was knocked down in the 5th round, and Tarver's record at this time was at 24 wins and 4 losses, with 18 wins coming by way of knockout. Okay. So after that, he took a little time away from the ring. Let's talk about that after the B-Hop loss. Okay. Return to the ring. So Tarver returned to the ring nearly 1 year after his loss to Bernard Hopkins, defeating Albanian fighter Alver Mariki on June 9, 2007, by way of a majority decision. In his next fight, held at Foxwoods Resort Casino on December 1st, 2007, this place is in Connecticut, Tarver registered a win over Danny Santiago by way of a 4th round TKO. Tarver then regained the IBF title by outpointing Clinton Wood. Okay, got the IBF back. Then he had 2 fights with Chad Dawson. So he had a fire resume. Huge names on there: Roy Jones, Glenn Johnson, B-Hop, Chad Dawson. There's him and Chad right there. Chad Dawson, 1 and 2. On October 11th, 2008, Tarver faced rising star Chad Dawson for Tarver's IBF title. Now, the fight took place at Palms Casino in Las Vegas. Tarver lost the fight by a unanimous decision with wide margins, 118-109 and 117-110 twice. The outcome was not disputed. With the loss to Dawson, it was speculated that Tarver may choose to retire. However, he later announced that he and Dawson would meet in a rematch in March 2009. Okay? The next year. Immediate rematch. Now, a rematch with Dawson, originally announced for March 14, 2009, had to be postponed due to an injury suffered by Dawson. Finally, on May 9th, a month later, the two fighters met at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. Tarver, who came to the fight as a 5-1 underdog, again lost by unanimous decision. So he didn't get his belt back. But then he moved up to heavyweight. Okay. Moved up to heavyweight. Following the rematch loss to Dawson, Tarver took over a year off from the ring, took another year off, before returning on October 15, 2010 to defeat Nagy Aguilera by 10-round unanimous decision in a fight that took place in the heavyweight division. For this fight, Tarver officially weighed 221 pounds, 46 pounds more than he had in his last fight in the Dawson rematch. 46 pounds heavier, and he lost too. Took a year off, ballooned up 46 pounds, and he lost by unanimous decision to Nagy Aguilera. Okay, so he dropped back down. He didn't go all the way back to light heavyweight though, like Roy did. He went back down to cruiserweight. Okay, cruiserweight for the Magic Man. On July 20th, 2011, Tarver took on Australian IBO cruiserweight champion Danny Green at the Sydney Entertainment Centre in Sydney, Australia. In Tarver's debut in the cruiserweight division. Now, Tarver dominated the fight, knocking Green down in the second round and controlling the majority of the action from then on. After taking heavy punishment and being saved by the bell at the end of round 9, Green failed to come out for the start of round 10, allowing Tarver to take the victory and the title by TKO. Okay, so now he's a champion at two-division champion at cruiserweight. Okay, IBO, a minor title, but still a champion. So after that, he took some more time off. Okay, after the Danny Green fight, took like 6 years off. As a matter of fact, because that fight was in 2011. Okay, he fought a few more years, but returned. On February 25th, 2021, it was announced that Tarver would be returning to the ring for the first time since 2015. He was signed to face former UFC heavyweight champion Frank Mir in Mir's boxing debut on April 17th on the undercard of Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. Now, Tarver intended to represent mental health advocacy, and he has said he would dedicate the fight with Mir to all survivors or victims of mental health disorders. However, on March 23rd, it was announced that Tarver had withdrawn from the fight after not being cleared by the Georgia Athletic Entertainment Commission. He was replaced by former IBF cruiserweight champion Steve Cunningham. Yeah, so he didn't fight. His last fight was officially 2015. That comeback in 2021 didn't pan out. Media. Okay, told you the Magic Man wasn't a long one. We got some backup plans. Media. Rocky Balboa. Okay, he starred in that movie when it came out in 2007. This is like Rocky 49 or something, right? Definitely made too many Rockies. Now, Tarver starred as heavyweight champion Mason the Lion Dixon in 2006 film Rocky Balboa. Then the film, the current unpopular champion Dixon fights former champion Rocky Balboa, who decides to come out of retirement. Okay, he played Mason the Lion Dixon, right? Rocky Balboa came out of retirement. Now, Dixon wins the fight by split decision, and after breaking his hand in the second round of the fight, but still managing to stand toe-to-toe with Rocky for the full 10 rounds, proves to fighters, to doubters, that he has the heart of a champion. Now, the DVD of the movie offers an alternate ending, one in which Rocky wins the split decision. Dixon's record before the fight was 33-0, 30 knockouts. Now, also on the DVD, the film's writer and director, Sylvester Stallone, wanted to cast a real boxer in the role of Dixon, as he thought it would be easier to teach a boxer how to act than to teach an actor how to box. Yeah, I agree with that, because you got to hit a body and everything as the actor. So yeah, easier to get a boxer and show him how to do a little acting than to get an actor and train him how to play a boxer. I agree with that 100%. Yeah. So they got Tarver to play that role instead of an actor. Yeah. But now Tarver is one of only 3 fighters to actually defeat Rocky Balboa in film. Okay. Then Apollo Creed beat him one time, and I think Mr. T's character beat him, didn't he? What was Mr. T called? I forgot. I think Apollo Creed beat him, and I forgot who Mr. T was. But commentating with Showtime. He was a commentator too, remember? With Showtime. Got to fire your podcast, didn't it, Magic Man? Commentating with Showtime. Now, after his loss to Dawson in June 2009, Tarver served as a boxing analyst for Showtime Championship Boxing. Yeah. And there you have it, the life and career of the Magic Man, Antonio Tarver. Okay. Now, I think he fought most of his career at light heavyweight. So, who is the greatest light heavyweight boxer of all time? Who's the greatest light heavyweight boxer of all time? It might be Ezzard Charles, who was actually never won the title at light heavyweight. Actually never won the light heavyweight title. Okay. But arguably the greatest light heavyweight boxer of all time, Ezzard Charles. Okay. Let's talk about that. And then we got the top 12 all-time greatest light heavyweights in history. Okay. Tarver was a light heavyweight. That's where he fought the most. That's where he started at, and the majority of his career was spent at 175. I think he might have only had that one fight at heavyweight, and then he came back down to cruiserweight. He didn't do like Roy Jones, jump from heavyweight all the way back down to light heavyweight, all weight trained. That's when Tarver knocked him out. Tarver went back down to cruiserweight. Yeah. Smart move. Roy either should have never went up to heavyweight or should have never came all the way back down like that, That was a bad knockout to the Magic Man. And the Magic Man, like I said, his popularity really jumped after he beat Roy. Became a household name, kind of. Mainstream celebrity. They were showing him at fights and everything. There's Antonio Tarver. Did the late night circuit. Jimmy Kimmel and all of them. Conan don't come on no more, do it? I think I saw the Magic Man on Conan O'Brien. He was coming on around that time, remember? Remember Conan? Come on, late night. No, he wasn't on Johnny Carson. That was way after Johnny Carson. Ali and all them was on Johnny Carson. Joe Frazier. Oh, excuse me for 1 minute, please. Then we're gonna go over the who's the greatest light heavyweight of all time? Ezra Charles. Give me like a second. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, shoot. Okay, I'm back. I was just thinking, man. I was just thinking, if I was still in the JBT, I could have played the commercial while I was gone. Okay, but salute to the great JBT. Who's the greatest light heavyweight of all time? Okay, I believe it's Desert Charles. Now, there are only two possibilities for greatest light heavyweight of all time. Ezra Charles, who actually never held the light heavyweight title, nor never fought for it, but he is generally considered by all experts to be the greatest light heavyweight who ever lived. And Archie Moore, the old mongoose, who is the greatest light heavyweight who was ever champion. And that includes Gene Tunney. Okay. Now, Gene Tunney is not in the discussion. Tunney only won the heavyweight title because Jack Dempsey had not fought in 3 years and had been living the fat and Hollywood lifestyle. And Tunney only defended that title twice, once against Jack Dempsey and the second against a hand-picked journeyman so he could win and retire. Further, many of Tunney's fights were not against light heavyweights, but against middleweights and under. And Tunney would cheerfully later admit in his 1932 book, A Man Must Fight, that he felt his skills were eroding, but he wanted one title defense against someone not named Jack Dempsey. So after the second Dempsey fight, he picked an easy fight against New Zealander Tom Heaney. He fought and defeated Heaney in July 1928, and then he retired. Finally, Tunney never once fought a black man. Some claim he made an offer to fight 38-year-old Harry Wills, but the indisputable fact is Tunney never in his entire career fought a black fighter, ever. So why then is Charles rated as the best light heavyweight in history if he never won the title? Now, although he is ranked by many as the greatest light heavyweight champion in boxing history, Archie Moore has to be placed behind a man who was never champion of the world at 175 pounds, Ezra Charles, the Cincinnati Cobra. Now, the reason above all others is the fact that 3 times Ezra Charles beat the legendary Archie Moore in a series of fights in the 1940s. Not only that, but Charles actually knocked Archie Moore out in the final fight of their trilogy, all fought at light heavyweight, right? So if that doesn't make Ezra the finest fighter ever at light heavyweight, nothing will, okay? Ezra never won the heavyweight title, light heavyweight title, but Archie Moore is thought to be the greatest light heavyweight, but Ezra Charles beat him 3 times at light heavyweight. So I think that would put Ezra Charles above Archie Moore. Makes sense. Makes sense to me. Yeah. Miss Joette in the building. Miss Joette. I didn't recognize that name at first. Salute, Miss Joette. How are you? Good to see you. That's Miss Joette in the building. Good to see you today, Miss Joette. Welcome. We was just talking about some light heavyweight boxers. That's all. Good afternoon and happy Friday to you, Miss Joette. Okay, good to see you. Let's continue. Okay, we talked about some light heavyweights, Miss Joette. Yeah, Ezra Charles. Yeah, the reason he's above Archie Moore, like I said, he beat him 3 times. And Ezra Charles never won the title, but when he fought Archie those 3 times, I don't think Archie had won the title yet, because remember, Archie, it took him 16 years to get a title shot. He started his career at 23. He didn't get the first title shot until 39, but Ezra Charles beat him 3 times, so how can you put Archie Moore above Ezra Charles? You can't. Now, Charles was the 175 pounds best fighter in the 2 decision defeats, and both were overwhelming. And his knockout over Moore pretty much proves it in the eyes of virtually all boxing historians, right? Dominated him in 2 decision wins, and then he knocked him out in the 3rd fight. Ezra Charles, the Cincinnati Cobra, started fighting as a middleweight right before World War II. Now, when he returned, he began campaigning as a light heavyweight, and he defeated an incredible 8 Hall of Fame fighters in 20 fights. Joe Louis, Teddy Yaros, Charlie Burley twice, Lloyd Marshall twice, Jersey Joe Walcott twice, Archie Moore 3 times, Jimmy Bivens 4 times, and Joey Maxim 5 times. And during the 1940s, those were the big names at light heavyweight, okay? Archie Moore, Jimmy Bivens, Joey Maxim, Charlie Burley for the Murderers Row fighters. But Ezra Charles, after doing all that, could not get a shot at the light heavyweight title. So he moved up to heavyweight, where the money for regular fights was better and the title shot was easier to come by, okay? Now, though Charles in his prime never weighed more than 185 pounds and was without question a natural middle or light heavyweight, he was named Ring Fighter of the Year for 1949 and 1950, the greatest light heavyweight of all time by Ring Magazine in 1994 and 2002, and the 11th greatest heavyweight of all time by Ring Magazine in 1998, and the 13th best fighter pound for pound of the last 80 years by the Ring Magazine in 2002. And Charles was inducted into Ring Magazine's Boxing Hall of Fame in 1970, the World Boxing Hall of Fame in 1983, and the International Boxing Hall of Fame, the big one, in the inaugural year of 1990 into the old timers category, okay? Now, considering that Charles had amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease. I should have just said ALS because I butchered that first. But ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, right? Which killed him on May 28, 1975. His career was all the more incredible, right? Charles said he first noticed the ailment in 1955. After a guy hit me, I didn't seem to be able to get away, he said. I didn't have the same coordination. Yeah, that's what ALS will do to you too. However, modern physicians believe it probably was affecting him to some degree at least 5 years earlier, meaning he had a deadly nerve disease during the time he defeated Joe Louis by a 15-round unanimous decision on September 27, 1950, to gain universal recognition as world heavyweight champion. And during the time, he made 8 successful title defenses. Doing all that, doctors say he was already suffering from ALS, right? Beat Joe Louis and made 8 successful title defenses while suffering from ALS. Wow, incredible. Also, when Charles twice bitterly fought Rocky Marciano for the title in fights Rocky called the hardest and toughest of his career. The great Rocky Marciano called 2 fights with Ezra Charles the hardest and toughest of his career. And Ezra Charles was suffering from ALS at the time. Incredible. Now, Charles is the unquestioned greatest light heavyweight of all time and one of the top 20 all-time great heavyweights. Now, Archie Moore, while second to Charles, is in fact the all-time greatest light heavyweight champion. Excuse me, because Archie actually had the belt, okay? So he's the greatest champion. Now, the old Mongoose also started his career as a middleweight. He's the only man in history to be ranked as the #1 contender in 3 different weight divisions: middleweight in 1942, light heavyweight in 1950, and heavyweight in 1955, okay? Only man in history to be ranked #1 contender in 3 different weight divisions. No one else has ever done that, okay? Middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight. Nonetheless, Archie Moore never got a title shot in any of those weight classes until he was 36 years old. #1 contender in 3 different weight classes, but he didn't get a shot until, I believe it was 39. I think it was 39. Now, Moore defeated Joey Maxson by a 15-round unanimous decision to win the World Light Heavyweight Championship on December 17, 1952. 4 days after his 39th birthday, right? He finally got a title shot when the promoters thought he was too old to win it. He fooled them. Yeah, they waited until the man was 39 and give him a shot because he thought he would get beat. But the old Mongoose fooled him. And then when he won it, he kept it for 10 years. Archie said, "I'm not losing this title. It took me 16 years to get a shot. So if I lose it, I might not never get another shot." So he kept it for 10 straight years. And he wasn't ducking anybody. He was fighting, right? Now, Archie Moore challenged Rocky Marciano for the World Heavyweight Championship on September 21st, 1955, in Rocky's last defense of his title. Now, the Mongoose dropped Marciano with a right hand in the 2nd round, but Marciano came back and knocked Moore out in the 9th round. Yeah, you can't just knock Rocky. You got to kill Rocky to beat him. A knockdown means nothing. Not the Rocky Marciano. They got to carry him out of there on a stretcher before you can say he lost, because he getting up. Now, Moore also fought Floyd Patterson for the vacant World Heavyweight Championship on November 30th, 1956. He was knocked out in the 5th round in that one. And he was just a couple of days from his 40th birthday in that fight, okay? The old Mongoose. A couple of days from his 40th birthday, fighting. Floyd Patterson was young in 1956 because Floyd Patterson just won the championship 52 when he was 21. So he was like 25 then, right? No. Yeah, 52 and 4 is 56, right? Yeah. 21 and 4 is 55, right? Yeah, he was 25. Wait a minute. 21 and 4 is 25, not 55. So Archie was 40 years old in there against a 25-year-old man. He did get knocked out, but he still tried. Now, Archie remained undisputed light heavyweight champion until 1960, when he was 44 years old. And he retained a part of the title until 1962, when he was 46. Okay? That's why they call him the old Mongoose. He was still champion at 46 years old. Now, Moore was voted the 1958 Boxing Writers Association of America Fighter of the Year. He was inducted into the World Boxing Hall of Fame in 1980. In the National Boxing Hall of Fame, of course, in 1990, the inaugural year. And he was voted Light Heavyweight Fighter of the Century by the Associated Press in 1999 because he was champion. You know, they wouldn't vote Ezra Charles as Boxer of the Century when he never had the title, you know. And Archie was voted Light Heavyweight Fighter of the Century by the Associated Press in 1999. Okay. And Ring Magazine ranked Archie Moore as the 2nd greatest light heavyweight of all time, next to Ezra Charles. And Ring Magazine also ranked Archie Moore as the 14th best fighter of the last 80 years and the 4th greatest puncher of all time in 2003. Okay. Now I got 12 of the 12 greatest light heavyweights of all time. Okay, we're gonna stretch it out to 12 of them. Okay, 12 greatest light heavyweights of all time, of which Ezer Charles is definitely one. Okay, let's look at that. Okay, where are you? I don't maybe have to put this in again. There it is. All the way at the top. Okay. 12 greatest light heavyweights of all time. Okay. Before I get a little link time in a few, because I'm going to run through this about 3:30. So far, so good. We made it. This technician today, he did a little something. But that one yesterday, they're going to talk about sending him back. For what? He didn't fix it yesterday. Why send the same man back? You know? I mean, it's like a waste of time. I'll be calling them again. Who in here would want the technician came and didn't fix it? Who would want him to come back later that same evening? Not him. Okay. The top 12 all-time best light heavyweights. Okay. Of all time. Of all time. Now, for many years, the light heavyweights were viewed as the cruiserweights of by some today, as a trope of pugilists, destined to eventually add some extra pounds so they might mix it up with the truly big men at heavyweight. Now, certainly, the 175-pound class was never thought to be one of the so-called glamour divisions, but it was. This view is reinforced by the failure of many light heavyweight champions to scale the lofty peak of the heavyweights and claim it as their own. But over the decades, it has boasted its share of legendary fighters, even if most of the very best at 175 never actually owned the division's world title. So without further ado, let's take a look at them. Just got 12 of them, very brief. 12-1, 12 best light heavyweights of all time. At number 12 is John Henry Lewis. John Henry Lewis. It's John Henry. Now, world champion with a career mark of 99 wins, 11 losses, and 5 draws. Okay, so that's 115 fights. Only lost 11. Lewis boasts wins over Bob Olin, Tiger Jack Fox, James J. Braddock, and Maxie Rosenblum. Okay, at number 11 is Harold Johnson. That's Harold on the left, on the left hand. An excellent technician with a solid punch, Johnson scored wins over Archie Moore, Jimmy Biffin, Doug Jones, Eddie Macon, and Ezer Charles. He beat Archie Moore and Ezer Charles. Yeah, maybe he should be number 1. He beat the top 2, but he's number 11. Coming in at number 10 is Jimmy Biffin. Okay. Everybody that Harold Johnson beat is in front of him. Now, Jimmy Biffin scored wins over a long list of great 175-pounders, including Ezer Charles, Archie Moore, Joey Maxim, and Lloyd Marshall, as well as some elite heavyweights. Okay, that's why he's on this list. Number 9 is the great Tommy Gibbons. Tommy Gibbons. Okay. Now, Tommy was a clever boxer who knew all the tricks. Gibbons bested a wealth of great talent, including Harry Greb, Kid Norfolk, Billy Misk, George Carpenter, and Battling Levinsky. He battled Jack Dempsey in 1923 in the heavyweight division in the famous fight that bankrupted the town of Shelby, Montana. Yeah, they bankrupted the town. The town overbid it for the fight, and then when the fight actually came, it didn't have the money to foot the fight. So they went bankrupt. They had to spend everything they had in the bank in the town, and it still wasn't enough. Bankrupted the town, right? Number 8, the great Bob Foster. There's Bob on the left. Bob Foster. One of the most powerful of light heavyweights with knockouts over Dick Tiger, the great Dick Tiger, Mike Quarry, Chris Finnegan, and Vicente Rondon. Bob Foster made 14 consecutive title defenses at light heavyweight. He was around the 70s, around in that range. Billy Conn. And see, there's Billy Conn. He was the one that dominated Joe Louis for 12 rounds. There they go, him and Joe Louis. Dominated Joe Louis for 12 rounds, gave him a boxing lesson. Then he got cocky, overconfident in round 13, went to stand in front of Joe Louis and got knocked out immediately. Like I told y'all before, that whole record, Joe Louis record heavyweight streak, 12-year streak during the 40s, the 25 consecutive title defenses, none of that would have happened. Billy Conn had him beat. Joe Louis needed a knockout, and Billy Conn got foolish and stood right in front of him in round 13 and got knocked out immediately. History would have really been rearranged. But Billy Conn, when he was at the top of his game, few could match Conn for ring smarts. He defeated Young Corbett III, Fred Apostoli, Gus Lesnovich, Fritzy Zivic, Bob Pastor, and Lisa Vold in one of the greatest of all heavyweight fights. He came very close to dethroning a prime Joe Louis. But got crazy. You know, he was outboxing and giving him a lesson and got overconfident. He said, I'm gonna knock Joe Louis out. And then Joe knocked him out immediately when he stopped boxing. You can't go. Joe Louis is one of the greatest finishers in boxing history. You know, Joe Louis gets you in trouble. It's like a shark with blood in the water. Max Melling. Told y'all, Max Melling, Joe Louis beat him 2 minutes in the first round. Fight lasts 2 minutes. Max Melling spent 2 months in the hospital from a 2-minute beating, a month per minute. Michael Spinks, number 6 on the list of the greatest light heavyweights of all time. D1 from the Angry White Men podcast. Tonight at 10 p.m. D1, William Old School Ranch, or Aren't. The Angry White Men podcast tonight. Don't miss it. You'll be doing yourself a huge disservice. I always fall asleep, but I always catch the playback. I'm old. Now, I'm going to try to stay up tonight. I always say that, but I always fall asleep. But I catch the playback. The Old School told me y'all was on the other day in the afternoon, D1, but I didn't get no notification. I would definitely been in there. The Angry White Men podcast came on in the daytime and I missed it. Then I was upset. But YouTube plays games with the notifications, the likes, the subscribe. They play games with everything, man. But salute D1 from the Angry White Men podcast. Did I say tonight at 10 p.m.? Friday night, 10 p.m. Okay. Michael Spinks is number 6 on the list of the 12 greatest light heavyweights of all time. Not only did Michael Spinks become the first light heavyweight champion to win the heavyweight crown when he defeated Larry Holmes in 1985, he also excelled in a particularly strong 175-pound division. He beat the likes of Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, Yaki Lopez, the White Muhammad Qawi, Marvin Johnson, and Eddie Davis. Yeah, the 80s, light heavyweight was probably at one of the strongest periods in history in the 80s. Yeah, when all those guys was fighting. And Spinks was undisputed. His first loss was to Mike Tyson in that 91-second fight, and then he retired after that. Yeah, 91 seconds. It was over. You know, you got to go to the kitchen, get a drink, or go to the bathroom. You came back. Don King was in the ring. It was over. Okay. Number 5, Tommy Laughlin. Tommy Loughlin. Now, Tommy Loughlin, D1 said, Antonio Tarver just started following me on X and TikTok. I was shocked. Oh, yeah. Okay. The Magic Man following D1. He probably seen that great Angry White Man podcast, D1. He going to be in there soon. But he'll be in there soon. Tommy Loughlin. Now, unquestionably, one of the most cerebral of ring technicians. They call him the Philly Phantom. He defeated a long list of excellent fighters, including the great Harry Greb, the toy bulldog Mickey Walker, young Stribling, Jeff Smith, Arturo Godoy, King Levinsky, and George Carpenter. You talk about 20s. That is a who's who of light heavyweights in the 20s. Wow. Harry Greb, Mickey Walker, the great Harry Greb, the toy bulldog Mickey Walker, young Stribling, Jeff Smith, Arturo Godoy, King Levinsky, and George Carpenter. Wow. And Tommy Loughlin beat all of them. There's Tommy. Gene Tunney made it. Man, as I talked about him just now, he made it. Number 4. Here's Gene, the Fighting Marine. He never won the world crown, but he didn't fight that much at light heavyweight. But that didn't stop him from establishing himself as the best light heavyweight in the world while scoring wins over fellow greats, Tommy Gibbons, the great Harry Greb again, Jeff Smith, and George Carpenter, before moving up to heavyweight to defeat the legendary Jack Dempsey. Yeah, beat Jack Dempsey twice. Mm-hmm. Okay, number 3 is the Mongoose / Old Mongoose, Archie Moore. The Mongoose / Old Mongoose. Man was 46 years old, still champion. 46. Okay. No one questions the greatness of the Old Mongoose. Only where his name should be slotted on a list like this, right? Only where, first, second, or third, definitely top 5. Now, with the most knockouts in boxing, second most knockouts in boxing history, got 132. Billy, I forgot his name, Billy somebody got 136. Archie has the second most. That will never be broken. Nobody will even fight 136 times anymore, or 132, right? Archie is second most knockouts in boxing history, and wins over Holman Williams, Jimmy Bivens, Lloyd Marshall, Bobo Alston, Eddie Cotton, Joey Maxim, and Harold Johnson. The Old Mongoose is forever an all-time great. Number 2, Sam Langford. This man fought from lightweight to heavyweight, from 135 all the way up to heavyweight. That's crazy, ain't it? Wow. That's a wide range. What is that, 65 pounds? Sam Langford. He's called the best fighter that never won a title. The Boston Terror may have fewer all-time great light heavyweights on its record, but for much of his legendary career, he fought as a light heavyweight, okay? His weight in the vicinity of 175 pounds. Now, the roster of great fighters Langford bested is amazing, right? Despite the fact so many avoided him. Now, this astonishing list of names includes Sam McVeigh, Philadelphia Jack O'Brien, Harry Wills, Joe Gans, Kid Norfolk, Jack Blackburn, Gunboat Smith. He beat old Gunboat too, Gunboat Smith. Big, what a name, Gunboat Smith. Big Bill Tate, Stanley Ketchum, and Joe Jeanette. Did I say he beat Gunboat? Yeah, he beat Gunboat. And number 1, Desert Charles, right? Now that's what you call a beatdown right there. That is literally a beatdown. Look at that. He's beating him down and running behind him. There's Joe look like he's trying to run. Just go on down. But anyway, Desert Charles, competing at the same time as fellow greats Archie Moore, he has wins over Charles Burley, Joey Maxim, Lloyd Marshall, Gus Lesnovic, and Jimmy Bivens, are just part of why Desert Charles topped the list. The other part is the fact he holds 3 wins over Archie Moore, like we talked about earlier, which establishes the Cincinnati Cobra as the finest of his time at 175. That was before he went to assault the heavyweight division. He became champion at heavyweight. He beat Joe Louis and Jersey Joe Walcott. And remember, Rocky Marciano himself said Ezra Charles gave him the 2 toughest fights of his career. And we just found out Ezra Charles was suffering from ALS at the time. Right? Gave the great Rocky Marciano 2 of the toughest fights of his career. And sick. Doctors said it. Ezra said he started suffering 5 years later. Doctors was like, no, you had that 5 years early. You know, you were showing the signs of it, okay? Don't forget, Monday, as promised, we're going to do something on women's boxing. We're going to do the state of women's boxing 2025. We're just going to talk about it, and we're going to look at some of the currently active women's boxers in the sport, okay? The women get in there and put it on the line for us, too, so we got to cover them, too. So Monday is Women's Boxing 2025, okay? Talk about the state of it. And we're going to look at some women boxers that's competing in 2025. It's currently active. I'm going to put the link in now. And we got fighting tomorrow. We got the big one between the Eubanks and Benz. They continuing their fathers rivalry. Remember the fathers? No love lost in that neither. And the fathers was no love lost between the fathers, and now the sons, the same thing. They were supposed to fight a few years back, remember, and Conor Ben had everything, every illegal drug known to man in his system. So that didn't happen. Remember? He said he even had some pregnancy medication. Damn, Conor. And yeah, so that fight didn't. And he had Chris Eubanks at a catch weight, rehydration clause. Conor had every drug known to man. He was trying to kill Chris Eubanks. So this time they better do a good, Chris Eubanks better make sure they got some good drug testing. You know, this guy Conor Ben, man, known drug cheat. So I would have VADA, YADA, WADA, DADA, all kinds of drug testing agencies. MADA, all of them. Even invent some. BADA. All of y'all test Conor Ben before I get in there with him. Remember all the stuff he had in his system last time? That was the reason the fight was postponed. But they made it up to, it's tomorrow, so I guess it's going to happen this time. Yeah. A good card, too. Old cheating George Warrington on it. You know, George Warrington hit behind the head button, hitting low. George Warrington knows every dirty trick known to boxing. He was on the card last week. But we got Anthony Yard on this one against Lyndon Arthur. That was the guy that fought Revolve a few years back, remember? Yeah, Lyndon Arthur is on there. So it's a pretty good card. Anybody seen Thomas Hill today? I don't think he was in here. I'm gonna put the link. Everybody's welcome to hit the link. We got like 20 minutes. Just Do Boxing is next. You know, that balanced boxing talk that he gives us. That's who I'm warming you up for. Just Do Boxing. Miss Joette in the building. Nice to see Miss Joette. See Miss Joette in a while. Very good to see her. Okay, here's the link. Everybody's welcome to hit it. Come up and chop it up. We got about 20 minutes. Yeah, TGIFD one. And don't forget the Angry White Men podcast tonight at 10 p.m. D1 and William Old School aren't. Old School was in here the other day. He said he got off early or something. Yeah. And we chopped it up for a minute. Yeah, but yeah, we're at the end of another big week of boxing history. I appreciate everybody that stopped by this week. And we're going to start it off Monday with the women. State of Women's Boxing 2025. We're going to look at a whole bunch of women's boxing, their careers, their lives, some big fights coming up for 2025. You know, I think the GOAT fought this year, didn't she? Yeah. And you know, the GOAT is the only three-division champion in the three-division undisputed champion in the four-belt era. The only one, Clarissa Shields. Four-belt undisputed in three divisions. We got 5 that did it in 2 divisions in the 4-belt era, but only 1 did it in 3, Clarissa Shields. It was what? Junior middleweight, middleweight, and heavyweight. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's his story. We're going to talk about her Monday. Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, Kat Skiller, Jessica McCaskill, all of them. Mm-hmm. Coming up. It's going to be good. Don't miss it. I'm not. Yeah, yesterday I was doing the list of the great American fighters. And the thing cut off on me. So I can finish that right now. I had the, because, you know, we, at the Highlights of Boxing History, the first 30 minutes of the show, we've been doing, picking a different country every day and doing some of the top fighters from around the world. And we was going to do the United States yesterday, and it cut off on me. We done did Australia. We did Cuba. We did Canada. We did Ukraine, remember? We did, what else did we do? I think we did Puerto Rico a while back. Yeah, yesterday was the United States. So let me get that back up so we can finish that off. I think I was about halfway through it. If I can find it. It was just yesterday. There, it was right there. Should be still in there. It is. List the 10 richest Americans. I did that today. Oh man, what was yesterday? Thursday? Right. Let me see, said the blind man. Let's see. I can't find it. That was yesterday. Greatest light heavyweight. That's today. I'm all shook up. We started the show yesterday, and then this thing started acting up, and we didn't finish it. I had to go on. But I know what I got to do. We're gonna finish that list and go on off the air. Just do boxing. Oh, there it is, right there. Yeah. I gotta remember where I was at. Okay. Well, they're Define Arnie. So now we can chop it up. What's up, Define Arnie? One.
How you doing, Cass?
Okay, how you doing today?
I'm good, thank you, bro.
How's everything with you today?
I'm good. Just heading to work now. Just have a few minutes to talk to you. You know.
Yeah. What's on your
mind? Man, I'm rooting for Chris Eubank Jr. Man. I don't think I ever.
Me too. What was you saying now? You were rooting for Eubank? Okay, me too.
Yeah. I never really thought I would say that. It's just that honestly, I dislike them both, but I dislike Eubank less. Plus, I think they're doing wrong with the weight, bro. Honestly,
I'm in the same camp. The lesser of two evils. Eubank. You know what I mean? Because Ben and all that cheat. Remember all that stuff he had in the system the last time?
Oh yeah.
Boy, that was crazy. Then they had Eubanks at a catch weight, a rehydration clause. He was trying to kill that man, and man.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, bro, it's just that the thing is that Eubank, I love his father, but Conor Ben, bro, I dislike him as much as I dislike his father. Now, all due respect to his father, right? I mean, he did great things in the ring, but he was dirty as holy hell, bro. Like, go back and watch the Iran Barkley fight, bro. He hit him when he was down, I don't know how many times. That was a disgrace.
The apple didn't fall far from the tree.
The one that I'm really interested in out of the whole card is Chris Billum-Smith, bro. Honestly.
Oh, yeah. Who is he fighting again?
Blanton, I think is his name.
Okay.
I'm not. I think it's one of those all UK cards. But I'm excited to see how he bounces back, bro, because he took a beating from Zurdo, a bad beating.
It's a nice card. That was his last fight when he took that beating from Zurdo, right?
Yeah, bro. He kept coming. He tried his hardest. I was rooting for him, bro, because he was
Mhm.
like, bro, he Jesus Christ, bro. He took a beating and he was just still trying. Like, I respect that.
Mm.
And but Anthony Yard, bro, he's fighting Lyndon Arthur. I
Yeah,
mean,
that could be good.
I, I'm done with Anthony Yard, bro. I mean,
Oh
like
yeah.
I mean, I appreciate the fact that he's getting closure because he's 1-on-1 against them. But honestly, bro, it's about time you fight somebody.
Oh, they
Like,
had two fights before him and Arthur, Yard and
yeah,
Arthur. Oh, so this okay? This the rubber match. Yeah.
but
His
it's happening like way too late. Also,
yeah.
like,
His biggest fight was
um,
against Viterbi. Remember? Remember when Yard fought him a few years back?
yeah, and he also did very well against Kovalev. But I
Yeah.
mean, he has such a weird resume because he goes from fighting a legend to fighting forgive me for
Yeah.
saying this, but to fighting a nobody, bro. I don't like saying that, but
Yeah.
comparatively.
What's up,
Um,
Aunt McQueen? Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. But the big one is next weekend, though. I can't stop talking about that one.
oh yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Isn't the Canelo card next weekend too, though, right? Against Aaron
Yeah,
Spence.
I think they're fighting Friday and then Canelo Saturday, I think.
Oh, the Ryan
Something
card
like
is
that.
Friday.
I
Oh,
think so. One or the other. One of them is Friday, the other is the next day. I think Ryan's card is Friday, but I'm not sure.
okay. I think you're right.
What do
So
you think about that one?
I got Ryan in that one. I think he's gonna stop Rolly.
What about Tio?
If T.O. bring his A game, I see him getting the win. Wouldn't even be too
Yeah.
hard, like a dominant decision over Barboza. Yeah, but you always
Yeah,
got
I
to
think
see T.O. show
stylistically,
back. You know.
stylistically, I don't see Barbosa giving a good Tio any trouble. Honestly.
Nah, I don't think so. The interesting one is Devin and Jose Ramirez. The
Oh yeah.
co-main event. Yeah, that's the one everybody looking at. There's Ant right there. What's up, Aunt McQueen?
How you doing, man?
Yeah, I think the fine irony is spot on, man. As far as
Mm-hmm.
stylistic, man. With
Yeah.
Tio,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not subscribed to the notion that he fights up or down to the level of competition.
Yeah.
I think it's just more so a matter of what the opponent does. Like he
Mm-hmm.
does well when people come toward him.
Right.
You know it's an issue when your promotional company does a whole segment about your inability to cut the ring off.
Mm.
And I don't think
Yeah.
it's a difficult fix for him. Like if you look at what gives him trouble, it's just he's very weak positionally when he comes forward.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's inconsistent with his jab. He comes forward with his lead hand down,
Mm.
which doesn't work behind the
Gotcha.
jab. So that gives him troubles. Like you're not creating any type of traffic. You're not giving the other guy anything to be concerned about. Like if you go look at when he got dropped by George Kambosos, he was literally just walking forward with a
Yeah, I
hand down,
remember that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Exactly.
remember that. Yeah.
and then got caught with a stupid overhand right because he just stepped in too far. He doesn't seem to have the greatest sense of what do you call it, like spatial awareness.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Because
remember.
oftentimes when he's throwing punches, when he's on the attack, not when he's countering, but when he's on the attack, he's generally punching from too far out.
Mm.
Like you look at when he got dropped twice by Sandor Martin
Yep.
by check hooks because he was overcommitted,
Absolutely.
throwing punches from too far out, and then just leaving himself exposed and off balance. And that's something that's been a recurring theme if you watch his fights, even in the fights where he was successful, like the Josh
Mm-hmm.
Taylor fights. There was some moments in that fight where he had some issues when he had to come forward, and I just
Yeah.
think a lot of it has to do with just keeping things basic. Just keep things basic. Come forward and work behind the jab, but instead he wants to rely on his explosiveness, and he wants to throw certain punches. He'll throw a hook from too far out, It's like everybody can't be Marvin Hagler or Floyd Patterson with that gazelle punch, where they can
That's right.
just explode. Because you still have to have a good sense of range in order to do that. Otherwise,
Yeah,
it's a very dangerous
definitely,
punch to attempt.
definitely dangerous.
Yeah.
If you don't have the range right, it can get you in trouble.
In big trouble
When
with
guys are
Tio.
super athletic, they tend to make such mistakes. Like it's almost like they take their athleticism. I don't want to say for granted, but like everything else goes out the window. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
and it's only a matter of time before somebody really makes you pay, bro.
That's right.
I agree, Define Irony, 1000%. And here's the thing: we've actually seen somebody make him pay for it. In the form of Sandor Martin. Now, just thankfully for Tio's sake, Sandor Martin is not a monstrous puncher. But could you
Right.
imagine if he was in there with a guy who's a far bigger puncher, and he's talking about going up to 147,
Mm.
Oh man.
and you're hit with those same shots on the top of the head like that, because you're out of position, man. It could be extremely rough.
Hmm.
But like, thankfully, Sandor Martin was not a big puncher, because I mean, he was just dropped in that fight, just being off balance and out of position.
Exactly.
And we saw it in the fight
Um.
with Nakatani as well. That was
Yes.
a pretty rough fight for Tio as well. After the fight, he made a little joke. He said it in jest, but I think there was a little bit of truth to it. He
Yeah.
said, "Man, I
I
don't want to fight any more tall fighters."
think.
That's what he said in the post-fight interview.
Hey, and what do you think about the Ryan and Rolly fight?
Rolly seems to be in like a weird space, man.
Hmm.
I think that he's probably doing some of the better boxing from a fundamental standpoint
Okay.
in his past couple of fights since he's been with Salas.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
oddly enough, it just feels like it took something from him. I think like the rawness that he had is what made him dangerous. Because he was
Hmm.
in there with some guys that could box. Like Anthony Yitchik was a pretty damn good amateur. And if you've seen the fights that he had with
Yeah.
like with Baranchik, it was a very
Hmm.
technical and tactical fight. Like the guy is crafty, he uses angles and all that stuff. But Rolly was just able to overpower him
Hmm.
just with just his strength and his athleticism. You gotta remember, Rolly is a guy that transitioned to boxing from judo.
Yeah, he sure did.
So he's a
Exactly.
hell of an athlete. But I
Yeah.
think by putting a little bit too much polish on him, you know what it's like? You know how you have certain vehicles that are service vehicles, right?
Right.
Where on the dash it may say 120, but they put a governor on it. Or some people call it like a retarder,
Hmm.
where it'll disable that vehicle from going past a certain speed.
Right. Right.
And that's kind of what Salas' teaching, in my humble opinion, has done to Rolly Romero, where it's like it's taken some of what made Rolly dangerous in the first place. Because again, he's got some wins over some credible guys. Jackson Marinez is another
Yeah.
one.
I was thinking about Jackson.
Jackson
Yeah.
Marinez was a pretty good fighter, and then some people felt like Jackson Marinez won, but the
Hmm.
fact that Rolly was able to hang in there with him, and that's a guy
Right.
that has more experience than Rolly does.
Hmm. Yeah.
Even the Tank fight, he did pretty well in the first half of the
He
fight
sure did.
until he
Yes, he
didn't.
did.
Yep.
He did well until he didn't.
That's right. Yeah.
But after
Until
that
Tank,
fight, Salas has turned him into a boxer.
Mm.
I mean, I love everything you're saying, and I love Rolly, bro. And here's the thing: I love Ryan in the ring. I love Rolly outside of the ring. Like, I just think this is a horrible matchup for Rolly, man. Something's telling me that he's just. I mean, the hand speed of Ryan plus the size advantage plus that left hook. And Rolly's lack of fundamentals, bro. I mean, hopefully he can fix all of that, but man, I just don't see it, man. And I want Rolly to win. Honestly, to me, Ryan's gonna win, but if Rolly can pull this off, bro, that would be like so awesome. Because I just think you've been fighting this way for such a long time, bro. Like, I almost look at him like a Munguia kind of situation. Like, can you really fix all of that at this stage? I mean, hopefully I'm wrong, but man, I don't know. I just think it's gonna be a bad one for him. Too many bad habits, for too long. But
That's a
I don't
fair
know, man.
question, but I think with a guy like that, like we see the best Munguia we've seen was when he was with Freddie Roach. And Freddie Roach didn't change him. He didn't try to reinvent him. He just added to what he had. Like he kept him pretty aggressive, but he added the element of more frequent head movement. But that's the
Yeah,
thing I've been seeing with Silas and Rollies. I think that Silas is doing a pretty good job, but ultimately what we're seeing with Rolly is he's learning on the job. But for with a guy like that, the thing that makes him so dangerous is pardon me, his strength and his unpredictability.
Hmm.
And I think by making him too conventional, it takes that away from him.
That's interesting. Yeah. Wow.
So you don't want to change him. You just want to take what he has and maybe add something that he can
Yeah.
implement.
Add to it.
Yeah, add to it. Make him a little bit more responsible, but not too conservative.
gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
He's
exactly.
never going
Like
to be
polish.
that graceful of a guy. Like you see the way he moves. His movement is pretty clunky.
Hmm.
Never going to be
Oh yeah,
graceful. So it's like we don't even need to try to turn him into that. So like let's take what he does and let's try to amplify it.
Hmm. Yeah, that would be best.
interesting.
And I
Hmm.
agree with you about it as far as Ryan goes too, man. Because you mentioned that one thing, that left hook, and we've seen the
Hmm.
one punch
Yeah.
that Rose has been susceptible to. It has been the left hand. When he got
Hmm.
knocked out by Tank, it was by a left hand. When he got dropped by Barroso, it was by a left hand.
Left hand. Yep.
That sparring footage that leaked with Jahan Ingram, he got hit with what? A left hand, and
Hmm.
then got knocked out of sparring. So yeah, I think that left hook is definitely some cause for some concern. Because for whatever reason, he seems to be susceptible to it.
Mm.
Yep. And plus, he's quick with that left hook, bro. People forget,
Yeah.
Ryan is really fucking quick with that left hook. Like it's not only the oh man, I don't know, man. I just hope Rolly can pull it off, honestly. But
Are you pulling
I
for
don't know.
Rolly?
My heart says Rolly. Yeah, my heart says Rolly, but everything else, my brain, my mind, is telling me Ryan.
That's a good card.
It is interesting though.
Yeah.
It is hella interesting.
Rolly certainly has a puncher's chance because, by
Yep.
all accounts, the guy hits hard as hell. That's one thing that guys have said almost unanimously. Everybody that's faced him, that the guy is very strong. He can punch. So he does have a chance there. We have seen Ryan drop several times. Got dropped by Luke
Oh yeah.
Campbell, dropped
Yep.
twice by Tank. But to Ryan's credit, I got to give Ryan his credit. Ryan is pretty damn resilient because the times that we've seen him drop,
Yeah.
he's gotten back up.
You know where he gets up. That's
Oh
right.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
And
I gotta
there's
run,
one more
fella.
thing I want to say about that fight, man. Oh, because you made a fantastic point to define about Rolly in this fight. Now, Rolly is a guy who he's been able to parlay his relationships and some of the success that he's had in the past into this magical run of sorts. Because his past couple of fights, he hasn't been looking too hot, man. The Barroso fight,
Yeah.
he pretty much got bailed out by Tony Weeks. Got
Oh yeah.
stopped by Pitbull. You know what I mean? He looked okay in the Jaimez fight, but he just looked okay. So if he's able to get a win over Ryan, he'll be able to parlay this into another 15 minutes of
Yeah.
fame,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
metaphorically speaking.
He's so entertaining, bro. Like he makes me laugh every time on the microphone, bro. Like I love guys like that, honestly. Um, we'll see, man. It's definitely be tuning in. I gotta run, fellas. It's been a
Okay.
pleasure speaking with you as usual.
Well, we're
God
gonna
bless.
go pretty soon. But Thomas, what's up, Thomas Hill?
What's up, guys? You had me on timeout, Playboy.
Oh, did I?
You had me on
down
timeout.
on the bottom. I couldn't. I saw the top of. I didn't know you was
Yeah,
there. I didn't even know you was in there.
I
I
was
didn't,
up in there for a strong minute too.
I didn't even know you was in the chat. But I see your name now. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been ripping and running, so I ain't been chatting or texting as much.
Okay. Yeah, but what's happening?
But I'm just listening to you guys cook.
Upcoming fights, that's all.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, we got some good ones coming up, man. I mean, like I said, it's redemption and hopefully conquest. I think that's what I'm looking for, man. I want my man Dev to get on a good foot. I want him to be out there free.
Yeah.
Not worrying about his last performance, but actually going out there and showing you who he truly is. I think that this weight that he don't have to cut as much of is going to help him. And I think that
what weight is this? Is this a catch weight or what?
I want to say it's 44, but I heard somebody say that they were trying to push it to 47, but I heard it was the catch weight.
Okay, yeah.
So
Ramirez never fought over 140 though, right? Ramirez.
No, I believe he's going up too, and then I believe he said the extra weight will help him as well. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see if he'll be able to catch that old feeling back too. Because if he can, it'll be an interesting fight. But if Dev is right, and if this weight really truly will help benefit him, it's going to be a tough task for your boy Ramirez.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Plus, it gets a chance to be still. Yeah, you got him what?
I said that's why they had the fights, though. What
yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah. What else y'all got? It's about time for Just Do Boxing to come in. Thumbnail up.
I think all signs point towards Devin Haney looking pretty good, though, man. I'm not sure if you guys have seen the latest episode of On the Ground.
Mm-mm.
It's a behind-the-scenes series presented by DAZN.
Okay.
And Devin Haney, he's looking really, really good. If you see him, I mean,
physically, he's looking right.
Yeah, man. But he's like most of these guys nowadays. He finally got on board with the whole nutritionist thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy is eating full meals while he's in camp. He's not missing meals. He's not starving himself to cut weight. He's doing a lot of strength and conditioning work. He's looking really good.
Okay.
So I'm expecting him to look sensational. I don't know what to think about Ramirez because T. Hill made a great point about him beating a career of 140 guy. So this is his first foray into 147.
Sure
with him being 32 years old and being a pro for being almost 10 years. I wouldn't be surprised if the weight cuts have been a little bit more drastic over the last couple fights. So 147 should do him well too.
Yeah, I think so.
So it should be an interesting fight because there's a lot of backstory going on and a lot of entry from people moving up to probably a more desired weight. Like I said, I mean, I don't fault anybody for doing what they feel they got to do to give themselves the best shot at winning, but it's just tough when you got to cut so much weight just to get in the ring. And I'm glad they're free of that much of a burden of cutting.
Hey, Tia, what was that about you putting the chat there? Explain about the StreamYard discount.
I tried to read your comment and I accidentally hit the button.
Oh.
I don't know how that came about, but that's an option now. So
I saw a discount,
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe you can benefit from the discount, hopefully. I don't know, but it was by accident. I didn't actually mean to do that.
Okay. I'm gonna hit that. I'm gonna check it out though. Okay, we're gonna get ready to go.
Well, alrighty then.
Too much of Just Do's time,
I can't do that. We wouldn't be doing boxing as Just Do if we did.
Yeah. Respect each other's time frame,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So what else y'all got? What about the Eubanks? Finish up the Eubanks and what is it? Ben tomorrow. Eubanks and Ben. Who wins that one?
I think Eubanks by late stoppage.
Okay, late stoppage.
And I don't even think he's that. Yeah, I don't even think he's adhering to the weight. So I don't think he. I think he's going to pay up on the fine for the weight thing. And I mean,
but they got a rehydration clause too.
Yeah, well, they tried to make it so it'd be competitive. You got one fighter, fighting close to his weight that he's always fought, and you got one coming up 2 classes. So
yeah,
they tried to make it an even playing field as best they can, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So it's going to be definitely an engaging fight because of the blood and the history.
The story. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you got to think about it too, man, because like for most of the way that it's looking to the viewing public, you got people who have been almost acclimated to quote unquote boxing royalty, especially from where they're from. They have feudal systems and things like that, not too far removed, and they view them as like the lord types of the bloodline, as opposed to the Conor Ben and them, Nigel Ben and them being the serfs. You know what I'm saying? So you got that kind of play.
Yeah, definitely until 5. We'll go a little ways then. Okay.
And,
yes, I didn't even read it. Okay.
Yeah, I just checked. He's gonna have Keith Cologne on there again. So Keith
I looked at. I didn't even read the time. I just thought it was 4. Okay. What was you saying, T Hill? Now you were talking about the Eubank situation. Remember?
Oh no, I was just saying that there's the play of them being, condescending to the Bens and like that, and being better received by the royals and the more affluent people out there. So you got that angle that's played, that's at play. I mean, so it's interesting from those standpoints. I mean, you also have a deep-seated disrespect going on by the fighter getting slapped and then talking about his pops and how his pops better not ever won't ever get his hand on him again. So it's a lot going on in that fight, and that the country gets behind boxing like no other. So it's going to be a big event. I'm just hoping that it plays well too. When they show it on the screen, because it's got a lot of elements to make it dynamic for sure.
That's on the zone, right?
Yeah.
So I get to see that. There ain't no pay-per-view or nothing like that. Yeah. What you think about that one, Ant? The Eubank Ben matchup tomorrow.
I'm curious to see how Eubank looks in the ring.
Okay.
To his credit, he tried his hardest to make weight, and he came awfully close. I mean, he was only off weight by a half an ounce.
Yeah, that's not nothing.
Right. I felt like the penalty was a little bit stiff.
Yeah, for a half an ounce. Come on, man.
Man, they hit that man up for $500,000.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Half ounce.
That's crazy. $500,000, man. Come on now, for half an ounce.
You would have thought this man. You would have thought this man was several pounds overweight, like Ryan Garcia or something.
Yeah.
I don't even think Ryan got taxed like that.
That much? No, for like what, 3 pounds? Yeah, I don't think he got hit that hard. I don't know what the reason for that was.
But the fact that he came in 160, half an ounce, I think it shows that he didn't really have nothing left to shave off his body.
Right. That showed he, like you said, he tried to make it, come that close. Definitely tried to make weight.
And Ben was way under the limit. He was like close to 4 pounds under. He was at 156 point something.
Yeah.
So with that being the case, I expect him to have a little bit more vigor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I see what you're saying. And then Canelo and William Skull is next weekend too. I think Canelo can be undisputed again. Don't he still have the other 3 belts? He just got stripped of the IBF, right? So if he wins this, he can be undisputed again, I think. He'd be the first man to be 2-time undisputed in the 4-belt area in the same weight division. First person. Uh-oh. Can y'all still hear me? Oh no, not again. This thing get ready to act up. Okay. Andrew. T-Hill, you still there? Here we go.
No. I'm still.
I thought my Wi-Fi was acting up again. The guy came. Let me tell you this, T. The guy came yesterday, right?
Say what?
The guy came yesterday, look at the Wi-Fi, right, and claimed it was fixed. So then, during the show, it went out. I had to go. I couldn't even do the show yesterday. So then I called her. They talking about, well, he's in the area. We're gonna send him back. I'm saying, no, don't send him back. I want somebody different, man. Why would I want the same?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that it could be that your signal where they're testing is good, but where you're actually are you on a router?
No, it's
you're
like
not on a router. You're plugged directly into where you're at.
Oh no!
Like,
so say it again.
Like, you're on a router, like it's pushing a signal from somewhere else, correct?
Yeah.
So with that, it could be that you're just not getting good signal strength.
Because it could be where I'm located at in the house, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But another guy came today, and so far I've been good for today. So far, yeah. Because I got a wireless box back here where I'm at, and then the other one is like connected to the wall, connected. So I don't know.
Yeah. So what you might want to look into is a mesh system. See, with a mesh system, it boosts it. It's almost like you can have satellites placed around your home and areas where it will give you the signal strength like you're getting it directly from the box, especially if you have it wired. Yeah. So like you have things pulling from the device that's off of a wire, but then you have some things that you can like actually link into with your Ethernet.
Okay.
All you would have to do is just get some Ethernet cables and then just get a mesh system. And I can send you a pretty cost-effective mesh system that will boost your stuff up.
Okay.
Especially depending on, you just need to find out what kind of cable link you got. Is it 6E? Is it 7?
I'm gonna have to find
whatever, and I can get you one that will get right there, and I'll send you the link for it.
Okay, I'll find that out. Yeah.
Because they could tell you exactly like, well, on the back of your router, you can look on the back of your router. What does it say? Like, it will say like 6E, 6. It'll say Wi-Fi 6, 6E, or whatever capability, and then you find out how many megabytes you have of actual. Because I got a gigabyte on mine.
Yeah.
And then I got a Wi-Fi that can handle a gig. So I got my stuff going like a gig everywhere. Well, it's not always firing on gigs because you got stuff pulling from it. But like my Wi-Fi usually anywhere from 900 to 970 megabytes.
Yeah.
It drops down to like the lowest will be like 895 megabytes. So like my stuff is flying. That's why when they say it's my internet, it's never my internet.
Right.
That's like it's quick, it's zippy, but It could be, my phone, my device, and everything like that, because it's pulling off of a signal to try to get. And then sometimes it bounces off of the signal for the Wi-Fi to my actual data, because like I might go from wherever I'm linked at on the Wi-Fi connecting to out of the zone.
What was you saying, like a 6E6 or something?
Yeah, 6E on your Wi-Fi on the back of the box. What does it say? What are the numbers that are reading over there? The information that's given?
It's the XI6T.
XI6T, and then it says anything about like the specifics, the specs.
Oh no, I don't see that.
It just only has that. It doesn't have anything else on there.
Oh yes, there's plenty of stuff down here.
Well, what does it all say?
Man, okay. This says mode.
Yeah, mode. What is the mode?
Okay. TX E1A E1.
Okay, and then what else does it say? Oh, what type is it? What's the name of the box? What company is it from?
Xfinity.
Xfinity?
Yeah.
Okay.
Slash.com X1. You ever get with your offline on this though, Teal?
Man, you say that all the time, and you never give me a call. But I'm gonna send. If you can, if it doesn't say like the connection, like what type of connection it has, like in the ports you plug into
the other box. This is just like a little cordless box here. Then it's got a big box out in the other room. I'm gonna look on that.
Oh yeah, the big box is where it would be located too.
Right. I'm gonna have to look at that other.
That's the information that you would need, and then from there I could tell you which mesh system. But I could send you like the best mesh system for your cable is Xfinity.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'll look up one for the Baltimore region for Xfinity, and I'll see which one matches best with it. And then I'll send a link to you to the phone, to the number that I do have.
We done went smoothly today so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, like you said, more so this your location, so we can definitely fix that. It was what I was trying to tell Jay when he was having the issue. I was like, yo, you can actually get a mesh system, and the mesh system will be like your regular cable where it's plugged in. It will amplify that signal everywhere. So yeah. And you lose slightly some of the signal because you're splitting it off and things are pulling from it. But if you wire it to something, then it's getting the strict signal. So like the more phase it has in the back that you can plug in the wires to, you can link because they're called nodes, and what they are like the satellites. You can link them either wirelessly or you can link them by Ethernet. The strongest is always wired. Wired is always the strongest. So if you can get like cables to get plugged into the back of them and into the nodes, because it's usually 2 or 3 nodes. You plug in the cable from the back to your the main one to the other ones, the other satellites, and then it's like wherever they are, it's like you're plugged into the main line because it will equally do that. So yeah, I'll send you a very, very good one that will work no matter what you got, and it's not very expensive either, and you can have that bad boy installed and plugged in, and then you will not be experiencing any of that stuff at all.
Okay, it's Just Do right there.
That's Just Do right there?
I say he's in the building. Yeah, Answer he was coming on that 5. Answer chopped and screwed me. I was reading the chat. Yeah, but I hear you, Teal. Yeah, that'll work. Because I think it do have something to do with where I'm located at.
But it's definitely where you're located because you're away from the actual what they call that thing, the modem. You're away from the modem, and then your modem.
That's out in the other room, way out there. Yeah.
So you have a connection, but that connection may not be strong because The
I'm back
wireless
here with
thing
this
might
little wireless box. Yeah, the main one is out there in the living room.
exactly, and all that is an amplifier. So it's trying to amplify the
Right.
signal so we can pull from it. But
Okay.
they have a mesh system that gives you that signal like at a
All over.
location, a remote, remote location. So you can place it anywhere and you can get it. And like I say, you can also enhance that by getting the Ethernet connection wires and then plugging them to the main modem. So everything can come out the main modem into that, and then you're tapped in. So
I'm good.
the thing, it'll work like this. You have the number one that you designate to be the number one modem. You'll have that one, and then in there'll be some that you can put wires into to connect to the things that you need to connect to. And it might just only be if you're at a computer, you only need one Ethernet cord. You can plug it from the mesh system to the other. Yeah. And then you would have, like, if it were already plugged into the cable box itself, or the cable modem itself. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get you right. But yeah, shout out. Just Do you coming on in 30 at 30?
Yeah, no, 5 o'clock.
Oh, he coming on at 5 o'clock, so he coming on in almost another hour then.
About 39 minutes.
39.
4:21 here.
Yeah.
4 o'clock your time. He coming on 4 o'clock your time. No.
It's 2 o'clock my time.
You're an hour behind me. Yeah, 3 o'clock your. No.
2 o'clock my time. I'm 3 back.
Because it's what time is it there now?
Yeah, right now it's 1:22.
Okay, 2 o'clock your time.
Yeah, he coming on 2 o'clock. He gonna truly be 2 o'clock shorty for me.
Right. I mean 11 o'clock shorty out there.
Yeah, you 11 o'clock shorty my way.
Yeah.
But for sure you coming on at 2 o'clock. Yeah, my time. But yeah, if you got something you need to handle, like I can get off real quick, and then I can get the Wi-Fi, the mesh system, and I'll send it to your to the cell phone, and that way you can have that information. Okay.
Yeah, Just Do got Keith Tsunami Colon today.
Yeah, Keith Cologne, that's my guy.
Cologne.
The future champ. Yeah. Future champ. He building that bridge right there.
Yeah.
What a champ, man. Shout out Just Do, man, because like the space need more Just Do's up in there. I rock with a lot of people, man, but like I come to my go-tos because I want to hear nothing but boxing talk. Sometimes I want to get a boxing lesson. I come here. If I want to hear some good boxing talk that's gonna be unadulterated, unbiased, and full with like thought-provoking conversations, then you tune in to Just Do.
Just Do was one of the first channels I started listening to, boxing channels I actually started listening to. It was a guy, Southern T. That's how I met Just Do through. Just Do used to be on
Southern T?
Yeah, that's how I first came in contact with Just Do on Southern T's channel. Then I started going over to Just Do's channel. Been there ever since. Yeah, so like I'm trying to help my man Just get this interview with Abdullah Mason. Okay. So I plugged him in. Oh, as a matter of fact, I gotta give him my boy number, or give him. I'm gonna switch that number so that they can contact one another. I was been slacking on that. I gotta get him my boy. His cousin, Abdullah Mason cousin, is my homie. Is he a boxer too?
No, he's actually a martial artist. Like he's serious. He's a serious martial artist. That dude don't play no games like martial arts.
Yeah. What's his name? I'm gonna have to see.
His name on YouTube. He goes by Nathir to Flexit. But I call him Nas though. That's his like nickname. But it's Nathir. Nathir.
How do you spell that to you?
Natheer. Nathir.
Oh, okay. What was the other part? Nathir. That's it, Nathir? I'm gonna have to look him up.
Yeah, I'll have him tap in one time up in here. Okay. So you can see who he is. But yeah.
And that's Abdullah's cousin.
He's how KO got the box the interview for Mason, Abdullah Mason, the first time.
To him.
Second time, KO had built a relationship with them. But
Yeah.
So trying to get him because he's starting to do a little bit more. He's starting to get a little bit more comfortable in the camera.
Is he out of Cleveland too, Nathir?
Yeah, he's from Ohio.
Okay.
I'm not sure what part of Ohio, but I think it is Cleveland though.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, him and his 4 brothers, and one of them brothers is bad. I think it's the one that's directly under him. Yeah, he's directly under him. I think he's bad.
Yeah, one that just made his debut fight like at the end of last year. Just had his first fight. Remember? Yeah, I don't think he had his second one yet.
Yep.
I haven't heard nothing about it yet.
Yeah.
The
got some stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so they got a fighting family just like
for sure
the Davises. So you know what I'm saying?
DB3.
That's my guy.
I mean, and what they call it?
DB3, you're right. DB3.
Right, DB3. The Davis Brothers 3. Yeah, DB3. Yeah. I think there's probably another fight in Norfolk coming up or 2 or something. I read something like that somewhere.
Yeah. That's like one of the coolest things about like dynamic, man. Like he's definitely making sure his brothers get their time to prove their medal in the ring, and you know, hopefully Abdullah can use some of his pull and his weight to do the same for his brothers, man. Because it's always better when you can take people along the ride with you. I was just watching the All the Smoke podcast with Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller, not one of my favorite players, like per se, but I just appreciated his craft and his professionalism, man. And he's an excellent speaker too. Like he and his sister, man. I happen to believe his sister Cheryl Miller is one of the best basketball players in spite of gender. Like I think that she literally. I wish people could have really seen. I was a kid when I saw her play, and man, she was like great.
Yeah, right.
I know you saw her.
I saw her college and pro when she was at USC.
Yeah, at USC. And I saw them in the Olympics when they finally took down them Russians. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? When the Russians had a stronghold on
I was following Cheryl then. Yeah.
The USSR teams back in the days where they had all of the dang countries over there under their regime.
Yeah, them women, they look like men. Them Russian
man,
women.
They had that one. Yeah, that one woman was like 7'6" or 7'7". Big woman, bro.
Yeah.
Like, but like
bigger than Shaq.
We're so used to seeing things now and saying things now are so much better than what they were back in the day. Because for the most part, I mean, people are a lot more athletic on average because they have a little bit more to play. I don't think it's just because, you know, they're born better athletes. I just think that they have better science and better equipment like that.
That's it, man. This technology and everything, you know.
Oh, wow. I'm going the wrong way.
Yeah. The science, like you said, that's a whole 100% better nowadays, you know? Yeah, that's the difference. Training methods, the eating. Athletes back in the day, they wasn't really worrying about nutrition and all that kind of stuff, man. You know, like they are now.
At all. So, you know, I think that's a lot better. And I think it translates better on the physical body. But I think that there's always been great athletes. You could look at Bill Russell and see that. I seen Bill Russell take the ball, take like 3 dribbles, go all the way down the court in 3 dribbles, and then jump over person and lay the ball up. That's hella athleticism at 6'9".
6'9".
You know what I'm saying? So like it's always been in place. Just not they didn't have the nutrition and maybe like the
that's right.
The science behind behind getting your body to be a little bit more explosive. And but Cheryl Miller, man, I would stack her against any. I know some people of the newer regime, they seen Maya Moore. Man, Maya Moore tough. But man, oh man, Cheryl Miller was special. Like she literally would beat dude. And that's saying something because like she's only 6'3".
That's all.
You know what I'm saying? 6'3". And she was taking on some dudes and she was holding her own, man. So, you know, she was special in that regard. And
I go way back with Cheryl Miller, man. To her college days.
Oh man, trust Alfrey Woodard, or what was her name? Something Woodard. I forgot what team she played for, but she was tough too. That's been Dennis Rodman's sister was tough. I got her name. Yeah, man, his sister is tough. Tough. Like she in record book stuff.
Really? Basketball? I never heard of her.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, she was a star. I think she went to a little.
They got the same last
name. Yeah.
Okay. Damn.
You could look her up, man. She was tough, bro. Like it was a lot of good basketball players, but there was like few that like Cheryl Miller. At that time, most 6'3" players were relegated to the paint because they didn't play much basketball, and when they did, they were big, so they had to get in the paint. Man, Cheryl Miller was bringing the ball up the court, pulling jumpers.
I'll tell you another name from back then. Let me give you another name from back then. Dawn Staley. She was nice.
I love you from Dawn Staley. Can't nobody tell me. I was a big SC fan. I'm always a big SC fan. That's my team. I like also Tennessee. I love me some Tennessee. But Virginia, Dawn Staley was tough. They used to have some battles with Tennessee. Tennessee had all them tough Shamika Hoscar, Shamika Catchings.
They had that coach. He was a good recruiter. But just her name to get him there, just because
Pat
of her.
Summit,
her name. Pat Summit.
Yeah.
She was legendary.
She was that one.
She get whoever she went after as far as recruiting,
Man, she was tough, man.
Yeah, she was
tough, man, and she coached with so much grace and respect.
Yeah, I think she got the most wins in women's basketball, don't she, Pat Summit?
If she does, Gino Auriemma is fast approaching if he doesn't have it already.
He might have passed. Yeah, Gino.
Gino is no joke.
Gino, no.
And he gets who the heck he wants. You talk about getting who you want, that man like this.
Just his name, man. If we recruit you, he's gonna get you.
And I thought SC had a chance, man, because we had Juju and then Juju got hurt.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to that matchup. I thought that should have been a matchup on either side because I thought they were the two best teams in the nation.
But you know what, TL? Dawn Staley making a name for herself at South Carolina too as a coach.
No, Dawn Staley is legit, but I'm SC. I'm the real SC, not South Carolina.
Right.
So I gotta ride with my people.
That's right. There's nothing wrong with that,
But yeah, she's tough. Dawn Staley is real tough.
Yeah.
And like I said, in the past 4 years, I think she's gotten two championships. That speaks volumes. I think she's been in the championship game 3 of the last 4 years. Volume.
Yeah, she lost that one to what's the girl's name? I think he went to the NBA this year.
Yeah.
Idaho, somewhere out there.
That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna send that information to you, and I'm gonna get this stuff up in here. I gotta get this cat litter, man. These cats over here making mess up in this place.
We'll do it again Monday. It's Friday.
Oh, for sure.
I appreciate
Have a great weekend too, man. Appreciate you.
All right, now. Okay, I guess that's it for the week. We'll be back Monday. Start out another week. We're gonna have the Women Monday. Women's boxing in 2025. We're just going to talk about the state of it and some active women, that's currently active now. A little bit about their careers, their lives and stuff, like the GOAT, Katie Taylor. Excuse me. Amanda Serrano, Savannah Marshall, Cats Killer, Baumgartner, some of the women that's active now. So that'll be Monday. Okay, so we're going to get on up out of here, but I appreciate everybody that came through today as usual. We got Just Do Boxing coming up. We got Keith Cologne. There's an interview today, Keith Tsunami Cologne. 5 o'clock today, coming on 1 hour later today. That's why I'm still on. But I appreciate it. Appreciate Thomas Hill and Aunt McQueen coming up, helping me out on the panel with that fire boxing knowledge. Okay. But if it's Monday through Friday at 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian bringing you all of that boxing history. Just Do Boxing is coming up at 5 p.m. with Keith Cologne. I am Cass Sports. Everybody have a great weekend. I will see y'all Monday. I don't think I ended it. Man, let me be quiet. I'm still on the air. Shit. Leave. OMG. Hello, everybody. I've never ended the daggone thing. See y'all.